Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now if you've been watching my channel, you've seen me review a number of different flashlights, from EDC flashlights to tactical flashlights, small keychain flashlights, and different things like that. And more specifically, a brand I'm going to talk to you about is the company Thorfire. Now in today's video, we're going to take a look at some brand new Thorfire products. We are turning the corner here and heading towards spring, and it's an excellent opportunity for me to look at something that's a little bit different from the norm. Now, before I get too far, I'd like to say thank you very much to the people at Thorfire who have provided these products for me to review today. Now, in general, Thorfire is a company that's kind of growing on me. When I first started looking at their products, they appeared to me to be a little bit on the cheap side, but no, that's not the case. As I move further and further and review more and more products, I see that they have made vast improvements in their overall quality, excellent upgrades and updates to their performance and their features and functions and the way they program their flashlights. And in that regard, I'm extremely excited to take a look at their bike lights today. Now, the three products we're going to take a look at are the BL09, BL12, and BL15. And if you'd like to see more about these Thorfire products, do me a favor, stay tuned. So here I have the three different products from Thorfire. Again, the BL09, BL12, and BL15. Now the first thing you'll notice is that each one of these boxes is considerably different. It's funny because when I go back in time and think about the prior Thorfire products that I had reviewed, one of my comments, which was basically they came in these brown boxes, was that, I wish they'd turn it up a little bit in terms of their overall presentation and packaging. And I've kind of changed my mind on that thought, but I'll continue with it anyway, which is at this point, it appears as though they have done that with the BL09 and BL15, not necessarily with the BL12. But I guess I'm still confused because the closer I look at this BL09, I see here that it's labeled as a Thorfire light on the actual label, like the sales label with the SKU and the barcode, but I don't see Thorfire anywhere else on the packaging. And then same with the BL15. As I look at this again, on the label and with the SKU and the model number, I do see Thorfire, but then I get onto the rest of the packaging and I don't see their name anywhere on there. So even though, again, my original comment going way back to my first review of Thorfire products was that I wish I had just a little more detail in their packaging, at this point, I may be seeing that, but it makes me a little bit confused if these are actual, Thorfire products. But regardless of all that, let's move forward. And this here is the first product we're going to take a look at. So this is the BL09. Now, in full disclosure, I have already looked at these products. Just generally, I have not done a full functional test just yet, but I have kind of gotten an initial impression of these. And the first thing that caught my attention when I opened up the package was how overall very small these lights are. Now, when I looked at them online, I got the initial impression that they were much larger than they are, but these are quite small, and that is a very good thing. Now, it's not like the old days where you had these massive lights connected to your bike with an external battery pack with wires all connecting them up and all that. And so these days, to have a nice, small, lightweight, compact light for your handlebars or even for your helmet is excellent. Just really nice that these are compact units, and the main reason being, first off, overall weight of course matters, but furthermore, just the ability to attach this into a number of different locations quite easily with the strap that you're given and the ability to kind of sneak this into places. That is helpful where it's small, but also more than anything else, the actual mounting. with something that is heavier, it would have a tendency, if you're hitting bumps, to potentially kind of move out of position. And I found that in in the past, when I used to ride a lot more and had actual lights for my bike, that over time, in certain points in time, they would wander and eventually move. But where this is a small light, compact, I'm hoping that these will ultimately stay put and fixed into the place where you actually place them a lot better. Now, this bike light is USB chargeable, so by removing this little cap on the back, it does expose the USB connector that you can connect to either a power brick, maybe a computer, a number of different things. But then there is also this cable, so a USB cable that actually has both the male end and female end to give you a little extension. So if you had a difficult time getting access to this, charging it off of some brick or device, or you just needed a little bit of an extension, you could certainly use this to charge the bike light. So then beyond that, this comes with an informational pamphlet on the inside. I just happen to get 2 copies for whatever reason, but they are identical. And again, just back to my original comment, which this says this is the DT6101. So again, I mean, I don't know if Thorfire is just simply rebranding this. It seems to be, but anyway, that's just my general notes and comments. But we'll get back to the actual function of this in a little bit. Before we go too far, let's take a look at the other lights I have here. So here we have the BL12, which to me is the product that I am the most excited to take a look at and use. I think this looks to be an excellent overall product with great features and versatility. Again, I have not used this at length. I just kind of was poking around on it a little bit and taking a look and trying it out a little bit. But this, again, is another very nice and compact light. A little bit bigger in some ways than the BL09, just in width. But in thickness, it's about the same. And actually, in length, it is shorter. So not too much different, but just a slightly different shape overall. But this, to me, I very much like. I think this has beautiful lines and shapes and overall construction. Again, the size being very advantageous. And then we end up with a couple of different mounts. So adding a little bit of versatility here, where you have a couple of different mounts that you can use for different things. And then ultimately, here's a charging cord, which this goes back more towards the, call it micro USB. So not quite the same as the USB connectivity on the BL09. This is a micro USB, which hopefully a lot of people have. Now, pointing out that this does not come with the charging brick, so you will need that actually. Both of these so far, that has been the case, but hopefully you have one of those bricks or a computer or something you can plug this into to charge the light. And then the other thing is this also comes with a little lanyard. So this does not necessarily only need to be a bike light. This could be a very nice little camp light or multi-purpose light for different things. And I like this. I've played with it a little bit. It's actually kind of comfortable in your hand. It's a nice size. It's very pocketable. And there's a number of reasons why this light to me is kind of, in a way, my favorite of all three, just in terms of the overall features and functionality. But anyway, just to wrap this up, the final thing in the box here, again, the informational pamphlet. So opening it up, and just the product manual. Now, again, I'm just going to go back to my original thoughts and comments about the packaging. This, to me, is more in line with all the packaging on all the rest of the Thorfire products I had received in the past. So it's making me think that, you know, this particular light is more of a genuine, call it Thorfire product, where, again, I'm just wondering about the other ones being sort of a rebrand. And finally, the BL15. So taking a look at this here. Again, completely different construction on the packaging. No true indication that it says Thorfire on here. Completely different types of mounts going into here. A couple of different mounts. the actual light, which has a completely different looking construction from the rest of them. It's much heavier. This is a larger and heavier light. This is a really heavy and solid construction. I'm not sure. This seems to be aluminum. Actually, getting into that, this is, I believe, I don't know, it's hard to say. It seems to be possibly a plastic. It might be a nicely painted and machined aluminum, but I think it may be plastic. And then this seems to be an aluminum. So getting back into this BL15, dual lights here, again larger, slightly different configuration, that micro USB rechargeable capability, and then again just a couple of mounts, and then here's some. These are basically just the locking mechanisms that you'd use here, threaded in there to tighten those down, and then finally a couple of rubber strips that seem to go on the inside of this to grip the bars. So that covers kind of the lights in general coming out of the packaging. I got to go through all the details here with you and start to look at the beams and the quality, and there's a lot to do. But just bringing these into frame all together now for the first time, you'll see that there is a considerable difference in the overall size between them. I'll put them this way. So the BL09, BL12, and BL15, these have completely different overall functionality when you get into it. The programming's different. They behave differently and have sort of, in my mind, different places where you would use them. So that wraps up my kind of general look at these. And at this point, let's get deep into the details.